Good. Welcome, everyone. Yes, Neha here, founder of College Shortcuts. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties, so I'm on my laptop and my phone for Instagram. Happy to see everybody on. Today, what I want to do is share a little bit about what's going on in admissions when it comes to AI. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to add it in the chat. I'm always here to say a quick hello. Hi, Parul. Nice to see you. Hi, LLJH. Hi, Uchandar. Hi, Azi Barakia. Hi, Nandita Raju. Nice to see all of you guys on. All right, cool. Just did some quick waves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some of my notes that I took for today's call because I want to make sure that you guys get the best of the best. Um, sorry, I'm getting. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to go live here and not on there. Sorry about that, everybody. Probably hearing double there. Technical difficulties. That's how you know this is a live. All right. I was trying to get Instagram to work, but I couldn't on that platform that I was using. So I am going to keep moving forward because that's what you do. All right, so let's talk about AI and admissions. This is a hot button topic. You can tell I'm a little flustered because of my technical difficulties, but all good. Okay, hi Moni, hi Priya, nice to see you guys on too. Hi Parul, great to see you. Okay, cool. So let's talk about what are the top schools usually and generally saying at admissions. So after kind of reviewing the admissions guidance and summaries of official policies that we've seen across different websites, there's specific messaging that has been very consistent in what they've shared. So almost every single top school is only wanting the student's authentic voice. So not AI, not a parent's writing. They're looking for a student's authentic voice. Now, many colleges are allowing AI for brainstorming, grammar, some of the organizations of thoughts, but very few schools, if not any, are allowing students to use AI to completely write their students' essays. And I think that's pretty obvious because why would you be putting out prompts as a university and then to end up having all of these AI generated essays? I can tell you a little story. We had a student who joined an assessment call with us. It was a senior student applied to all reach schools, 36 on the ACT, like super sharp. They did a consultation on why they got rejected from every college on their list except one school. And when I read through the essays, I was able to quickly spot which ones were written with AI. Um, the student and the parent were both on the call when I kind of went through why I think they got rejected. Student stated, I did not use AI on the call, but when we went through our AI detection tools, it flagged it at 98%. So I don't think the student was a big fan of me calling him out, but you're asking me to tell you what didn't work. So if essays are fully drafted using AI, you can automatically get rejected from colleges. AI detection tools can spot these types of issues. Now, what I will tell you is when you are submitting AI generated writing as your own, it can be considered application fraud or academic dishonesty at some of these institutions. At NACAC last year, I was at a conference for college counselors, and one of the admissions officers of NYU shared that they found out that a student had applied with a transcript that was false. And they only figured this out somehow after the third or fourth year of them being at NYU. And they decided to, in the last year, I mean, I still breaks my heart when I heard about it. They pulled the student out and said they couldn't graduate. So you can only imagine you've paid 4 years of college tuition. You've been there for 4 years. You were dishonest in some capacity. You got found out about it. They're not going to let you get a diploma. And that's really heartbreaking. So, really thinking through how we use AI is extremely important. Hi, Gopinath. Hi, Avina Kulkarni. Nice to see you guys on. So, here's some examples of what we're seeing. So, Yale admissions explicitly states that AI generative substantive content is considered application fraud. Grammar or spelling assistant is generally acceptable in the process. Certain schools allow limited uses for brainstorming or proofreading, but they do not want AI generated essays. Duke University has really kind of shifted their essays due to the whole view of AI. Um, they're really focusing more on the authenticity and informative and insight aspect to it. Many schools, such as Harvard, MIT, and Stanford, do not have very clear rules on AI, but they still require that applications and applicants are certifying on their application that they did submit their own work. So we do know that it does make a difference. Hi, Prabha. Hi, Somya. Nice to see you guys. Okay, cool. So I'm going to share some of the top questions that I get every single time when it comes to the admissions process and what people are exactly looking for when it comes to AI. Now, as I'm sharing this, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and I'll of course answer your questions as well. Hi. Hi, Prabha. Cool. Okay, so here's the question we got submitted through email from families that got my newsletter this week. If you have not gotten on my newsletter, we are going to be posting some really cool things about blog posts, podcasts we do, our Facebook, social, etc., with latest updated information because admissions keeps changing. So please go to collegeshortcuts.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and register for my newsletter. It's completely free to you. We don't email a ton, but at least it gives you the information you need to keep updated on such a dynamic industry. All right, let's talk about the question I got. Can colleges actually tell if my kid used ChatGPT? So AI detectors can be unreliable, but most universities are investing in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in building AI detection tools. In general, I can tell you, as someone who's read, I don't know, 20,000 essays in my lifetime, I can tell very quickly when a student's essay was written by AI. And a lot of times when they're writing it, you can tell their writing seems a bit more sophisticated than what a senior in high school should be writing. Admissions officers can spot it like this because they're seeing essay after essay of that exact same prompt, and they'll see the generic issue or that it doesn't match the personality of other writing. So I think the big risk is not just about getting caught, it's also about losing the authenticity of your voice. And one of the biggest issues we see is that students use AI too heavily in their writing. And then because they used it too much, when they go to try to write their essays, they can't be creative because they used it too much for their ideas. All right, question number 2 that I got. Is it okay to use ChatGPT to brainstorm essays? Absolutely, yes, in most cases. So most colleges are perfectly okay with brainstorming ideas, organizing your thoughts, generating some of the ideas around the topics. That's also okay. But it really, again, we want to be very clear: brainstorming, not writing. Third, can AI edit grammar and spelling for my kid's essay? Generally, yes, but you need to be careful. We've seen students that use Grammarly or other tools, and then all of a sudden their whole essay gets detected as fully AI. So these tools are not as reliable as you think. So you really want to make sure you're being smart about it. But you can allow things like making sure you're doing some grammar checking, for example, in Google Docs, or spelling errors, or getting clarity around the improving of the writing. But what you don't want is entire paragraphs generated using AI, because that is, again, that's considered plagiarizing. I had a student recently, yeah, I think it was, oh yeah, one of my videographers was sharing that the word plagiarism doesn't seem to really exist in the space of the recent generation, that because the world is so full of so much regenerated information, that people don't really think about what it means to be creative or original. All right, let's talk about question number 4. Can AI write my Common App main essay? So for everyone who doesn't know, the Common App main essay is the main 650 words or less essay that goes to the university, and to all of the universities that you apply to on the Common App. You then have an average of 1 to 6 supplemental essays that are usually 500 to 200 words each for each top university. So the question around, can AI write my essay? No, absolutely not. This is exactly where students get in trouble. And I will tell you, there's certain AIs that won't do that for you, actually. We know that ChatGPT, unfortunately, is more than happy to do it for you. But then just think about the millions of other kids doing that. We also have heard recently that there have been some other counselors that have crowdsourcing editing where they have thousands of students helping other students edit their essays. Guys, please do not be putting your kids' essays into anybody else's ecosphere with thousands of other students because your essay can be taken now by 20, 30, 50 other students and used. To be very careful about where you're putting your essays and how you're sharing it. Now, your personal statement, the job of it is it's supposed to really communicate who you are, what you've experienced, and how you think. Now, you really want to focus on themes. There could be themes around tenacity or resilience. I'm working with a student personally in my VIP coaching where she is working through her essay on how to share some of the experiences she's had and how she's really stuck through things. And it's really important your personal statement has a solid conclusion. Now, do colleges use AI to read applications? Question number 5 that I received. Parents love this question. Right now, I will tell you there are some universities, I'm not going to name them, that are using AI as a detection of finding like the top 10 qualities that they look for in a student. Most schools, though, still have first readers, second readers, admissions committees reading through applications. Now, on average, an application gets about 8 minutes of a read to 8 to 15 because they have 70,000 or more applications for 3,000 spots at the top 50. And so some universities are exploring how to utilize AI to organize their process of applications, but still at the same time, holistic review remains human driven. Okay, quick hellos. Hi, Southside Savvy. Hi, Hema. Nice to see you. Hi, Sharma Miru. Hi, Vaniyelam. Hi, Saipavali and Dona Shinu 9735. Great to see you guys on. I want to also give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions that you have here. Feel free to put it in the chat. And then also, I am doing a surprise call. So I'll put it in the comments here. If you want to register, we have maybe 1 or 2 spots left on the call with me. It's at College Shortcuts. Let me type that because I can't talk and type at the same time. /apply. You can schedule, I'm doing it this Sunday evening. So if you want to join in to a call, fill out the assessment form. I will review your child's profile with my enrollment director. We will do a call together where we can discuss what we do at College Shortcuts and how we're helping students to avoid getting auto rejected, right? All right. Hi, Jay Lance. Hi, Vani. Hi, Prina. Nice to see you guys on. All right. Number 6, if everyone is using AI, does the essay even matter? Absolutely, the essay still matters. Otherwise, they would take it out. Now, I will say there are colleges starting to drop their supplementals. Here's a quick update. UNC Chapel Hill has decided to not take supplemental essays this year. So what does that mean? Your main essay still has to be strong. You still have to be good at writing that. And you have to make sure that all the other pieces to your application are strong then. So activity list, how have you edited it? Resume, what activities are you choosing? Essays matter a lot because they're really looking to understand who you are. It's not just about perfect writing, it's actually about genuine reflection so they can understand how you think. Hi, Sanjana Gupta. Nice to see you too. All right, question number 7. What is the safest way that a student can use AI? Because we all know our teenagers are using it. What is the safest way? So here are the ways you can use them and that we use with our students at College Shortcuts. I want to be very clear. Everything we edit is hand done. Hand done. So when a student is done with, let's say, a 40 or 50 page Google document, we are hand editing every single line. Yesterday, I was speaking to a school counselor who had over 700 seniors she was managing. I shared exactly what we do in our process, and she goes, we don't do any of that at our public school. There's only 2 counselors to over 1,400 teenagers. There's no way we could do any of that. And so that is why so many people look at us at College Shortcuts to support their students. I will share with you, if you haven't taken a look at the College Shortcuts About Us team page, we recently updated it with our 20 team members, and it showcases all of their backgrounds from academic deans, college counselors, people that were part of the SAT redesign off College Board. We have so many incredible people that we pair with our students. Okay, let's talk about it. What is the safest way for students to use AI? Question number 7. Good uses. You can use it for brainstorming, a little bit of outlining on some of the topics or the prompts, sometimes grammar, but I'm a little picky about that. You can sometimes ask for feedback, but again, it's going to be a bit generic. And then the bad uses are copying full paragraphs, rewriting your essays, and making things up. Those would be the bad uses of AI. Now, will AI make college essays disappear in the future? This is an interesting prediction question. It is definitely something in the college admission space of counselors that we are curious about. But we know that if this were to occur, right, UNC Chapel Hill is now the first to do it at a top school. If this is to continue to occur, these are the things they're going to require. One, they're either going to do more interviews. So instead of reading essays, you will need to be interview soft skill prepped, more video submissions, not using AI, and not reading off a page like this, which I've seen teenagers do. Um, More grade requirement and graded writing from the school that is like stamped by a teacher. There could be in person assessments that occur or more proof of your actual extracurriculars. Getting a phone call. Let me close that out. So, several selective colleges have added or even expanded their video components. Now, we also know that that can be, you know, that can be unfortunate, right? Because some students might have good video production, some students may be great on camera, and some might just be like, ooh, scared to be on it. So we know that it can make a big difference. Hi, V Chandegra. Hi, Joe Filono. Nice to see you guys. Okay, perfect. All right, question number 9. Hi, Erica Mendra Ortiz. Nice to see you as well. Can AI actually hurt admissions chances? Yes. Not because AI is actually bad, but because AI produces very generic essays, little emotional depth, and not really a memorable voice. So when you're reading as an admissions officer tens of thousands of essays, the generic ones tend to disappear in the process. So, how should we think about AI going forward? Question 10. Look, AI can be used as a tool, not a replacement. I think that's the way to look at it. It is not your ghostwriter. It's not supposed to write your essays. No admissions officer wants to admit a student who has written their essays completely via AI. They just won't. They're looking for that authentic creativity, that personality that shows through. And if everyone uses AI, it's going to all be the same personality. So it's a major issue that we see in the admissions process. I just wanted to jump on here and do a quick live about the different areas that we're seeing in AI and where we think that it can be a challenge in the process. Because what we don't want is for our students to be getting rejected, like I saw, which is really tough. Um, oh, beautiful question from Prabha. I'm going to go ahead and answer. Hi. When I spoke with my son, what he thinks about getting a mentor to guide him, he says he can handle it himself and none of his friends have one. How do I convince him it helps him to build skills? Great question. So I will tell you myself, as when I was a teenager, I thought I could do everything myself. I had a lot of stress during times, a lot of anxiety. I didn't want to admit any form of help. I will share with you, we've seen this over and over with students where, like that mom who had a student get rejected from all 9 schools and now is going to a state local college that they didn't want to really go to, and they're trying to transfer. I mean, it's a very expensive mistake in terms of time and resources. So I think the big thing to think about is one, share, for example, college shortcuts, just to let you know. We actually do something that makes it really easy for students to say yes in terms of working with us. How we do it is families join on our group call. We invite students to it as well, or just parents. But afterwards, we actually email you a very high value piece of content. It is a case studies document. It includes the before strategy of a student, after strategy with us, and a video of them speaking. And it shows those students' soft skills, how they're able to interview well, how they speak. It shows what they got out of it. And most of the families that show that document after doing their free assessment with us to their student, 98% of the students say, wow, I didn't even know this existed, or absolutely, I need it. I also really do believe like what your friends are doing, I mean, that's irrelevant in my opinion. Like thinking, oh, if my friends aren't doing it, I shouldn't do it. Um, the reality is, and Prabha, if you don't mind sharing, is your student in what grade, and are they the public or private? You don't have to tell me which one. But the reality is that actually a third of people are using outside consultants. You just don't know about it. A lot of teenagers won't always tell each other about it in their own school. They'll share maybe with their cousins in another country, another state, or a different location. But a lot of times they don't share. So in reality, 33% of people that can afford counselors are using them. So yeah, 10th grade going to public school. So it really just depends. My recommendation would be to schedule a call with us. Maybe bring your student. We're doing a call on Sunday. Have him join. Let him hear from me. And I'll be honest, if a student does not want our help, want to we don't want to cause, any stress in your house in that way. We want to make sure that you are, how do I say this? We want to make sure your child is open to coaching, right? Like there's no point of having a student join our program and then hate it the whole time. We are big on student buy-in. So also recommend go to our testimonials page. It's a ton of students talking about it. The reality is, Prabha, to be completely honest, how do you join the call, Prina? Great question. I'll put the link right here in the chat. You can actually just go to collegeshortcuts.com and click on the button called Get My Ivy Action Plan and schedule it right there. That's our calendar. But I put the link right there for you as well. You can also find it. I'll just pull my website up. Get My Ivy Action Plan has a button. Actually, on the page itself, there is a schedule call. There's a call on Sunday and Wednesday this upcoming week. I am traveling to visit some colleges in this upcoming week, but definitely schedule a call with us if you're interested in learning more. But I will tell you, for students, so many times they think like, oh, I've got this, I can handle it. 10th grade, I just want to give you guys a sense. When you're in 10th grade, you are already more than halfway done with high school, is the way to look at it. You're welcome, Prina025. Nice to see you. And guys, please feel free to add in any questions you have. Now is the time for any Q&A you have. But one of the big issues we see is if you look at the Common App, the big things is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, right? And so when you're already at 10th and applications are due October of senior year or November, you technically only have 9th, 10th, and 11th to build your narrative and your story. And if you don't have the right extracurriculars and you're doing the same clubs as everybody else and you're kind of just lollygagging through high school, you're not going to stand out and get into a top 50. It requires a level of precision in your strategy. And so a lot of students just, kind of enter in 9th grade. They're trying to get their feet wet. It's May 9th grade. Then they're in 10th grade and they're maybe like the president of a club or a treasurer, but there's no real clear story of why this major or activities or summer programs. That's where you really struggle. Okay. Erica Mendra and Ortiz. Okay. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo puedo hablar en español si quieres. All right. I wonder if I jeopardize this outcome by putting them in public instead of staying in private. Great question. So I wouldn't feel stressed. First of all, these are life decisions you have already made. Please don't feel stressed. That's not my goal when I go on these calls. But I will share what I think. Whether you go to public or private, where you go to high school does matter. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But it really is about asking your school counselor, hey, my students at your public school, can you tell me last year, what colleges did these students get into? Just ask, right? Like get a sense. What colleges did they get into? These are some of the ones we're looking at. How many got in the last 1 or 2 years? And they should have that data because they are connected with all of these people. They go to NACAC. They talk to admissions officers just like we do. And so from our perspective, it really is about making sure that if the school you're going to, okay, perfect, Erica, you did that? Awesome. Now, private school is different than public school, and it depends on where your student falls in your grade, right? You could have a student in private school in the bottom 50%. That's not great for getting into a top school. Switch to a public school, have better grades and at the top of their class, and have a very higher chance of getting in because academics do matter. So Erica, highly recommend jump on a call with me. Then I can take a look more in depth with you and understand kind of what your situation is. Fill out the assessment link after you schedule your call in detail. And I personally read every single one of them. I'll be reading all of mine on July 4th. We work 7 days a week at College Shortcuts. So I'll put that all together. We know that most school counselors are not working this summer. They get to take the summer off. At College Shortcuts, we right now are in the midst of essays. If everyone wants to put their grade level of their student, that would be super helpful. I'm just curious. But for all of our students that are going to be seniors, your applications are now due in less, not due, let me reframe that. Your applications are now opening in less than 30 days. Just think about that. In less than 4 weeks, you can actually technically submit an application. So we always know that applying early decision, early action increases your chances significantly. So we highly, highly recommend it and getting everything together. All right. I know I've been on for 30 minutes. I've been talking quite a bit. I hope you enjoyed this live. If you did, can you please do me a favor? Like, share with your friends, talk to other parents. This is a free resource that we are doing at College Shortcuts. We're calling it our summer edition for parents and students to get really well informed. Like I said, if you are interested in learning more, thank you, Erica. Absolutely love you as well. Hope you are doing great. Um, for everybody on, please like, share, send it to your family friends, send it to your cousins, send it to everybody that you know that has a high schooler, because we know as a community we all need help. And I am working this weekend. I am doing a call on Sunday. Please join that call. It's going to be a one on one where we can, not a one-on-one. It's going to be a time where I will do kind of a presentation, but with slides and more in depth about what they're looking for in admissions. And I'll talk about what we do at College Shortcuts, from our mentorship program to our applications, to ensure that you know exactly what you need for your student, because we customize it to every family. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We absolutely love connecting with you guys online. If you are liking these, shoot us a text or email or message on social. Let us know your questions. I can also do just a full Q&A as well. But have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I hope you have an amazing day. Go hug your teenagers tight, even if they're tough on you, because, we're all here to support our legacy and our next generation in becoming the leaders of tomorrow. And at College Shortcuts, my hope is to help you get into the college of your dreams, whether it's college, boarding school, private schools, or graduate programs. We're here to support you in any capacity that you need. Have a great day, everybody. It's been so great connecting. And we absolutely, absolutely love jumping on here and connecting with you. Thanks, everyone.